Hey, what's going on, guys? Richie from 04 Mach 1 Speed. So, I was actually at Best Buy yesterday with my girlfriend, and I was kind of looking at the quadcopters and drones, even though I got about 20 of them. But I decided to pick up the Protocol Neo drone. I know you can get these things for cheaper online, but I was already there, so why not? So this is a Protocol Neo drone. In reality, it should be called Neo Quadcopter. but, so, this thing is pretty good. I've actually had a lot of good experiences with Protocol. They're actually a relatively good company for low price quadcopters. This is about $40, and so it's definitely really fun. Now, the first thing I have to say is when you spend $40 on a little nanocopter like this, usually they're somewhat better quality than something like the JJRC. This thing I just got from Amazon, it was like $20, but it's built extremely cheap. I mean, probably the cheapest I've ever seen one, but it still flies great, and I've already crashed this like 1,000 times, and it still works flawlessly. So the only thing I don't like on this is these little propeller guards right here. When you take them off, you have to take the whole thing apart, and I don't want to disconnect the motor from the actual board itself because the soldering on these things aren't really that good. But first thing I noticed about this is it is pretty good quality for only $40 for such a small quadcopter. It's rugged, durable, tough. I've crashed it already about a dozen times. Now I will say it's not as agile as I wanted it to be. It's not as agile as like the Sky Viper M200 or the Cheerson CX10 or some of the SEMA drones, but it is not. It's definitely not as agile as I want it to be. It's kind of slow. And the thing is I'm probably gonna take these little propeller guards off here because I can't stand these things. I hate them. I think they look stupid. They're like little training wheels for drones. I just don't like them. I think they look tacky, stupid. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. It's funny because the transmitter in a lot of ways looks like the PlayStation controller, but that's okay because the SEMA X13 and some of the other SEMA RC quadcopters, they look like Xbox 360 controllers, so I guess you got the best of both worlds. But this looks like a little tiny PlayStation controller. It's kind of funny, but it does fit my hand pretty well. Just like PlayStation controllers do, and the cool thing is the toggle, like the yaw left and right, the altitude up and down, and of course the left, right, forward, backwards. These knobs feel pretty solid. They don't have a wiggle to them at all, so the remotes feels somewhat of decent quality. So like I said, it's not really that fast. So don't buy this thing expecting it to be extremely fast and go crazy, like a high-speed drone. But it's not. It's pretty slow. It's kind of like the Camaro. I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes for that. Now, I have a question for you guys because this is an answer that I haven't really been able to figure out. I can't even, the instruction manuals don't even tell you. I charge all these little nano drones, these little nanocopters, on a half amp port. I actually got 2 of these, and I charge it 500 milliamps because I don't want to damage the battery. And the thing is it doesn't say anywhere in the instructions on how much current to charge these things at. So is it okay to charge these at 1 amp, say using an iPhone charger? Or, any charger that uses 1 amp. Obviously not a tablet or an iPad or a Galaxy charger, whereas those are 2 and 2.1, 2.4 amps. Obviously you don't want to charge something like this on 2 amps, but is it okay to charge these on 1 amp? I mean, I want to know because I haven't found an answer anywhere. Alright, so other than these stupid propeller protectors, geez, I'm going to take these things off. God, I hate these things so much. But like I said, the quadcopter, it's definitely sturdy. It feels like it's pretty tough, well built, as a lot of products from Protocol. They seem to be pretty good quality. All right, and the cool thing is the charge port is actually an external charge port, unlike most of the other ones that are internal. The actual let me just go ahead and do this. The actual charge port is protruding out from the actual board itself, and it's connected. It's basically integrated into the board, into the actual circuit. So this isn't an external piece that they soldered onto the actual board. This is actually connected to the board. It's pretty much one of the board. It's a piece of the board. So I have a feeling that this would be probably pretty difficult to break off, even crashing it at full speed. This thing feels pretty tough. So I wouldn't worry too much about this protruding a charge port here. It's most certainly an interesting design. I actually thought that was a light for a while, but it wasn't. So like I said, as you can see, the charge port is pretty much built into integrated into the actual board itself, so it's pretty much a solid one full piece. I just realized that it looks a lot like my Sky Viper M200. Look at that. Surely that's not just a coincidence. I'm just kidding, I don't know. I doubt these two companies are related, but they do look very similar. All right, so these little nano copies, these little quadcopters, they're a lot of fun to fly. They really are. They're a lot of fun, and I'm just not sure if I want to step up to the, you know, the Typhoon or the Phantom 3. I mean, those are $700, $800, $1,000. The professional version's $1,200. Those are cool drones, and those are actual drones because they have a FPV camera feeding live video back to the transmitter. Don't get that mixed up. I mean, technically it is a drone, but in reality, if you think about it, technically it's not. It's basically just a quadcopter or a hexacopter or an octocopter if you have 8 propellers. But these are just basically quadcopters, and they don't have any cameras, of course. But I don't know if I'm ever going to get something like the Phantom 3 because I do like video filming, I like aerial filming, I like photography, I love all that stuff, and I love video editing. But if I'm going to spend $500, $600 on a drone, I kind of want a racing one like from Align or Storm Racing. Basically a drone that was designed and built for speed and built for racing. But one thing I noticed about these quadcopters, even the little tiny ones like the Cheerson CX-10 and the Sky Viper M200, is they actually handle wind very well, surprisingly. Unlike the little 3 and 4 channel, you know, small helicopters that they have. Those things just don't handle wind very well. But the quadcopters, they're actually pretty damn good in the wind, I have to say. And here in Oklahoma, it's definitely very windy. Now, the only thing I don't like about the Protocol Neo drone is the fact that the trim buttons for yaw and the left and right are on the top. I don't like that very much. I like the traditional trim on the side, like these buttons right here. And so the trim is on top of this, which is very interesting because I haven't seen that before. Alright, so I can't think of anything else other than to say that I do like this thing quite a bit. It's actually a lot of fun. I just wish it was a little more fast and a little more agile, like you know, like some of these smaller. Well, actually, any of them really. But this one's it's just not that agile. So now I'll do a separate video. I was gonna make a video and just post it on with this video, but I'll just make a separate video of me flying the Protocol Neo drone.